Hello, thanks for tuning in. Right, I was watching a YouTuber friend of mine in America the other day called George You Wanna Watch, a channel I watch regular. He did something a little bit different the other day. He did something called the Getting to Know Me Challenge. It's a challenge that's going around America. YouTubers are recommending each other to do this challenge. And what it is, it's a series of questions to get to know people a little bit better. Now, full disclosure, nobody's asked me to do it. I just thought I'd take it upon myself because, you know, probably nobody's going to ask me anyway. Nobody used to ask me to join a football team at school either. So I've took it upon myself. I'm going to do it myself. So it's a series of questions that I've got wrote down here. 14 questions for the Getting to Know Me Challenge. How did you pick your YouTube name? Right. Useless to Useful wasn't my original name. The original name for this channel was If I Can, Thou Can. And what a mistake that was. I mean, that's such a Yorkshire term. It basically means if I can do it, you can do it. If I can, thou can. And one day I'd gone over to Cheshire to deliver some stuff to a hospital, and I rung the guy up to say, right, I'm on site, whereabouts are you? And he told me, so I met him. And I got talking to him, and he says to me, he said, for some reason I had your number in my phone. He said, and when it came up, it said, if I can, thou can. And I thought, straight away I knew that sometimes these phones take it off the Google thing, and I'd registered it as an account for Google or whatever it is, and it came through on this Android phone. If I can, thou can. And I thought, if I can, thou can. Is that what people think my channel is called? So instantly I knew I'd made a bit of a mistake. And I think I'd had the channel running for about 6 months then. And what a crap name. What an absolute rubbish name that was. So I was looking for another name. And I remember a couple of years ago, my dad had rung me up, and he was in a working man's club. And he said, I've just seen one of these shields with a Latin name on it, and it was Utalis Utalia, and underneath it said, make the art of making useless objects useful. So he rung me up and told me this, and I wrote this down in a book ages ago, and I remembered this. So I was flicking through this book, and I found it, and I googled it, and yeah, the art of making useless things useful. So I thought, right, what a brilliant name for a channel, Useless to Useful. So that's how I got my channel name. I've got all the questions wrote down here. How old are you? I'm 57, you know that if you watch this channel regular. How tall are you? I think I'm 5'10". Might be a shade under. So yeah, 5'10", and I vary between 13.5 and 14 stone. 14 stone after Christmas. What is your favourite holiday? Without a doubt, 100% last year when me and my wife, my sister and my brother-in-law spent a month doing the road trip on Route 66. The best holiday I've ever had in my life. Absolutely fantastic. Closely followed by my honeymoon in Thailand about 25 years ago. That was a nice, not Thailand. Yeah, Thailand. Yeah, Thailand 25 years ago. Favourite colour? Yellow, definitely. Don't know why. Always has been. Nice, bright, yellow. Love it. Favourite animal? Obviously, my little dog, Skylar. I was asked this question years ago, just out of blue. What's your favourite animal and why? So I thought about it for a while, and I said, it's not technically an animal, but I'd have to say a bee, because they perform a very important function in society. They're always busy. I like to stay busy. And I think Einstein once said, if bees disappear, humans won't be far behind. And that's because they can't pollinate the plants and keep the food circle going. Favourite hobby? Well, now it's got to be YouTube. I spend, well, a lot of my spare time doing YouTube, as you can imagine. Before I started doing YouTube, I used to do stuff in my garage anyway, and building my man cave and making things out of pallets, and that's why I started to do the sort of YouTube stuff. During lockdown, did watch a lot of YouTube, and thought, well, I do what I used to like watching old men in sheds doing things, And then I'd go out and do things and inspired by things on YouTube. And I thought, well, maybe people would like to watch me as well. I didn't have any idea about computers and stuff like that. And I really had to force myself to start. I'd been contemplating doing it for a while. And I thought, do you know what? I'll buy a camera. So I went on Amazon and I bought my first camera, and it was £120. And I thought, once I've invested the £120, I've got no excuses then. I've got to do it. I've got £120 invested in it. I'm going to have to start making videos. And I spent Christmas 3 years ago learning how to upload. I used to lose audio. I was just rubbish. I was rubbish. And at points thought, this is too much. But eventually got through it. And like I say, it took me about 2 weeks to say. So yeah, that at the moment, that is my hobby. I don't have time for anything else, just the YouTube stuff. Favourite food? I don't have it very often, but I'd have to say fish and chips. Probably have it twice a year and always regret it a couple of hours after, because it's not good for you. But yeah, fish and chips with plenty of salt and vinegar on. In fact, I don't have salt on anything else. I do have it on egg sandwiches. That's the only time I have salt. Fish and chips and egg sandwiches. Do you have another channel? I have got some other channels registered because at the time I thought, oh, this will be a good idea for a channel. This will be a good idea for a channel, and they never sort of took off. I never put anything on them. I did put something on a fitness channel years ago called the 0.1% challenge or something like that, but I put 9 videos on it and then give it up as a bad job. This is enough. This useless useful channel. Favourite song? I couldn't really pick a favourite song. I like all sorts, from Guns N' Roses to Eminem, even some of his stuff going back 20 years ago. Always liked Bon Jovi, Johnny Cash. So it'd be unfair to pick a favourite song, really. I do have a favourite lyric of a song, and it's from Take It Easy by the Eagles, and it's standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, such a fine sight to see. It's a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, slowing down to take a look at me. That's my favourite lyric of all time. So yeah, I couldn't really pick a favourite song. Get Rhythm, maybe, Johnny Cash. Love that song. Boy Named Sue, Johnny Cash. Love that song. There's a couple of Jake Thackeray songs that I like. Slade Cleaves, Breakfast in Hell. That's a good song. Anyway. Favourite thing you've ever done on YouTube? Obviously, I knew these questions were coming up, so I've prepared this. That always has been, still is, and probably always will be my favourite thing I've ever made on YouTube. It's a coat hanger. It took me so long to perfect it. It took me weeks to get it right. I made it out of one of them old gas canisters. The wood is part of an old door, and the copper wire there wrapped around it. I stripped out of some old copper, and then just a couple of screws in the end. But yeah, industrial coat hanger. I just think it's great. Just love it. I love stuff like that. Favourite candy? Favourite chocolate bar? I do like a Dime bar, and probably Snickers, and still often refer to them as marathons, because when I was a kid that's what they were called, marathons, and I bet they've been called Snickers for 40 years now. But yeah, I still call them marathons. Most frequently asked question. That's definitely, where do you get your ideas from? And the answer is, I have no idea. Sometimes when I go out in that garage, I don't even know what I'm going to do. And I'll look around and I'll have an idea for something, and I don't know where. I do get ideas sometimes when I'm driving around, or I hear things on the radio, or I see things on the telly. I keep a pad and pen with me, and then I might do a quick sketch, and then often because I spend a lot of time driving around, and often go through it in my head thinking, what's the best way that I could do that? What could I make it out of? Because for me, it's the art of making things out of unwanted materials that I like, things that were going to be thrown away. If I can repurpose them and make something good out of them, that's the buzz for me. I just love doing it. What were the questions? Most frequently asked question. Where do you get your ideas from? And I think possibly part of it comes. I think I'm slightly dyslexic. I listen to. I don't read a lot of books. I tend to listen them on Audible when I'm driving around, and I listened to a couple of books on dyslexia a couple of months ago. Because what happens if I'm reading a paragraph of words, I get bored. After a few sentences, I'm bored, and I want to skip down to the bottom. And halfway down, I've forgotten what it started. You know, read the first line, second line, third line. By the time I got to the fourth line, I can't remember what the first line were on about. But that does sort of lead to advantages in other way. And this book were really, it's called The Dyslexic Advantage or something like that. Really good. So it says that dyslexic people have a different way of thinking, and that's probably where the creativity comes from. And I do love to create. I feel bad if I've gone through a day and not made something or created something or had an idea. I feel rough with myself, really. You know, on a weekend, if I get up and I don't do anything, I can tend to feel a bit bad about myself if I don't get something done. So yeah, creativity is a bit of a drug for me, I think. What else do you do for a living? Well, I think most of you know. I fit office furniture around the country. Often, sometimes at Christmas, collect Christmas trees and take them to recycling things. I do have another small business. It was a bigger business years ago. I used to supply furniture to housing charities, mainly the probation service. So when somebody came out of prison, the relevant agencies would ring me and say, right, we've got a flat at so-and-so place. We need a fridge, a cooker, a table and chairs, sofa, bed, wardrobe, stuff like that. And then I used to source all that stuff and furnish the flats. Sometimes clean them, sometimes decorate them, and then do bits of maintenance on there. So that were quite a decent business. But we're going back sort of 10 years. I had a couple of lads working for me. But overnight, that business more or less stopped, because what it was, the probation service used to take on these flats. They used to ring me and I'd do the job. But somebody came in, took over this thing and decided, wouldn't it be a better idea if we put the onus for furnishing and the maintenance onto the people that own the property, onto the landlord. So literally overnight, the business just went from up here to down here, and sort of folded. I did hold on to a couple of contracts, and they were to supply beds and wardrobes and bedding and things like that to various council-run charities and stuff like that, which I still do, and I sort of do that on a weekend or sometimes on a night after work. But it's not as often now anymore. So yeah, right, that's my 14 questions. I hope you enjoyed it. It was something different. Now, traditionally, what has been happening is I'm meant to call out 3 other YouTuber friends and say, right, come on, let's get to know you better. But I'm not going to do that because I don't like putting people on the spot. I would never say, right, you, and you. So all I'll say is, if you enjoyed this, if you enjoyed watching this, why not do your own, and we'll keep it going. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again. Cheers. Bye.